Packers scoop. The Packers, look, Micah Parsons didn't have a lot of snaps, wasn't expecting much from him, but just his presence alone, Scoop, made a massive difference to the Packers defense.
Absolutely. And again, the thing about Micah is that you can call him a linebacker, you can call him an edge, you can call him a number of things. He's so many different things on your defense. He as an individual player, we talk about teams that can beat you so many different ways. He as a player can beat you so many different ways. And the Cowboys may have had like 3 or 4 serious suitors for him. There is not one team in the NFL that couldn't have gotten better with Micah Parsons on their defense. Not one team.
Yeah.
There's not one team that shouldn't have at least made a call to see what it would cost to get Micah Parsons in that building. And and it's just, and I also think too, and I bring this up when massive trades are made or massive free agents are brought in. I also think there's a psychological impact that happens on other members of that team, particularly in a defense, if we'll say it like in the NFL, where it's just, oh, we got this star, we're really going for it this year. And I think that I think that there's something that connects differently for players when they see that, when they see, oh, especially again, let's keep in mind, this is Green Bay. This is the team that is notorious, that is the poster child for draft and develop and not going. Whoops!
Did you drop your drink?
Yes, I did.
That's what I thought.
Did you spill it? Please don't tell me you spilled it.
Look how passionate we are. We're so angry.
For drafting and developing, and for not going out and making like these aggressive acquisition type moves of like veterans and one thing or another. So for Green Bay to go and do that, I have to imagine it was just another level of that.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, Brandon, as Scoop said, and as I acknowledged at the beginning, that psychological impact was felt beautifully by this defense today against Detroit. A really good Detroit team that just didn't have it against Green Bay at all.
Yeah, I mean, you could see, and it's interesting. Detroit's game plan. Knowing that Micah Parsons was on a pitch count of sorts, but also that he was out there anyway. Micah Parsons is one of the he's a speed rusher. When he comes off the edge, he's flying fast. He's got blinding speed literally at that position, and that's why he can play outside linebacker and he can play defensive end. That's why he can hop around on either side of the line, on either end of the line, and what have you. But you're Detroit, right? And you're running so many swing passes and like little bubble screens, and I'm like, you do realize Micah Parsons is somewhere waiting out there, right? Like just waiting to make a tackle.
They put him in on a lot of really key third downs. Sorry to interrupt, Brandon, but they put him in on a lot of really key third downs that made a big difference.
And that's a big thing too with Green Bay. Green Bay for the last few years, it's one thing they've lacked. They've lacked pass rushing. They just cannot get to the quarterback. Well, you just got a guy now that can. So, and he lives in the backfield, both just hitting anything that moves back there, whether it's a running back or a quarterback, or a wide receiver on even a jet sweep, he could stop them dead in their tracks. So it's literally a thing of like it is psychological. It's just a mental thing. It not only boosts the morale of a defense to have somebody like that can just impact a game on one single snap, and it can really breathe, new life into just a team as a whole when they see that. The offense gets fired up. They might get the ball. Like that's the difference. Having somebody like him is the difference between having to get the ball back on a punt and get the ball back and have to go 70 yards down the field versus, getting the ball in the enemy territory at like the 35-yard line because he can force a fumble or it can stop a team dead in their tracks. So
right.
It's such a big difference when you have guys like that can change the momentum of a game, can just change the game in general by being that explosive and just their presence. Because now it's like, if he's not there in Green Bay and you're looking at that line at face value, you're like, okay, you don't take it easy. You don't take anybody for granted, but in your mind, you do sit there and you're like, okay, which one of what are these guys good at across this front seven, and what's the best plan of attack? But with Micah Parsons, it doesn't matter how you game plan because he's a game wrecker. So, the only it was never a question of his talent or his speed or athleticism or whatever it is. The only thing we always say was, he doesn't show up in the second half of the year. We'll see how that goes as we get deeper into the season. But as of right now, as of September 7th or now 8th on East Coast time, first week of the season, and he's only going to get more. He's going to get playing more snaps next week, and probably by week 3 he'll be playing the entire game. That is such a big boost that Green Bay has needed for the longest time. What's funny? Green Bay addressed a lot of things this year, and I don't think we talk about it enough. But they addressed some things that they sorely needed for a very, very long time. They went out and addressed the wide receiver position in the draft. They drafted a wide receiver for the first time in the first round in how many years? It was over 20 or something
23
like that.
23 years, I think.
Yeah, something like that.
So they went out and did that. Then you address something that you haven't had on that defensive line since you won a Super Bowl, and that's pretty much a really, really good, consistent pass rusher. And not even just pass rusher, just a guy coming off the edge that can hit anything that moves. So it makes a world of difference when you just address the little things that you've ignored for so long. And today you saw it. Like I think in our Pick'em League, me and you, Rob, we picked we picked Detroit to win.
Yeah.
And Green Bay.
Scoop, what did you do? Did you take Green Bay?
In the Pick'em League?
Yeah.
I have no freaking idea.
Okay, no worries. Brandon, continue.
But like, we're sitting here thinking like, week 1's gonna be a sloppy game, but Detroit on paper should win because of all that talent that they do have. And just by Micah Parsons and just by having a guy like Golden on the offensive side, it looked like, at least for today, it changed the entire dynamic of that team. This finally looks like a Packers team that hasn't seen life since Aaron Rodgers won the Super Bowl. 15 years ago.
And that was what, 13? Oh, yeah, 15 years ago.
Yeah.
Or 14, something like that.
Yeah.
Yep.
Scoop, anything else on the Packers?
Well, I'll just say this, and it's not so much about the Packers, but it's about it. Well, I'll just speak. But
Go ahead.
What intrigues me with them is that they're kind of looked at obviously as like I mentioned, kind of like the old school, like the sticking to tradition, yada yada yada. But let's take stock of them, and we've seen this several times in the last few years. We saw it with, I think most notably, Geno Smith. Yes, I'm going to bring him up again. We saw him with. Excuse me. You could say that we saw it with Baker Mayfield, who already showed some. Darnold could be another one. But my point being is just, I think we're so quick to think that, and it doesn't have to just be a quarterback. We're so quick to see, we don't like what we've seen from this guy in 10 weeks or 12 weeks or one season or even a season and a half or 2 seasons. He's automatically a bust. Let's get him out of here and try again. I think that there's a lesson here that there's value in drafting and developing guys and being patient. There is, and it's the Seahawks are reaping the benefits now of a team that didn't know how to draft and develop and be patient.